Hi, welcome back to our Mindset series. I'm Kat and this is Katie, and we're going to be talking to you guys today about one of our mindsets called expression. So expression we use to be represented in our jewelry with the stone.
We learned how to say it the right
We
way.
just had Google teach us how to pronounce it right because apparently we've been pronouncing it wrong for years. And now I can't remember the correct.
Lapis Lazuli.
Yes, Lapis Lazuli. So it's a beautiful blue stone, also known as Lapis Lazuli, apparently, around
To us.
To us. But go ahead, Katie. Let's talk
Yes.
about what that stone represents.
Yeah, so lapis lazuli symbolizes the act of revealing your inner truth. The deep blue color is a reminder of the importance of personal expression without holding back. It can help release feelings of frustration, resentment, or anger by reminding you to lead and express yourself through wisdom and authenticity.
So also,
Being authentic.
spoiler, behind the scenes, Katie and I, this is our second time recording this episode. So if we're like referencing back, like, remember you were talking about that one thing? Because we just did this and the recording didn't work. So we're re-recording it. But I will start off by saying, I liked what you were saying about your family because I thought that's really unique and not all families are like that. So do you want to share a little of how you have seen this show up in your life?
So my family is very blunt. I actually just had a bunch of family in town and it was really fun to see everybody be that way. But my dad's side of the family is just very blunt, very open and honest, sometimes to a fault. But it's great, and you just always know where people stand.
Yeah.
But I kind of got trained through school and friends and all of the things that you shouldn't be that way all the time. There's a time and a place to say how you really feel. And so I kind of took that a little too far and just stopped expressing myself and stopped being truly honest about really how I felt. And it, not just in, not the right times, but just in all times. And so it's been a little bit of an untraining to do that and learning how to express myself and just say what I think and say what I feel.
Yeah.
And a lot of that has been at work. And now in this newer position of, my opinion gets to be heard. And I am like integral in some of the changes that we make. And so that's been an important thing for me to be practicing, is saying how I think, what I feel, all of the things. So that's kind of my little journey over the last 20-something years.
I feel like this is such a good one to talk to you about, Katie, because again, it's like, I was trained that way, which some families, it's the exact opposite. Like I have some friends and it's like, we don't talk about Bruno, we don't talk about feelings. We just pretend like everything's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a little bit of that, like, I think my family has a little bit of that. And even like I had this really interesting experience. Like I went to this wedding over the weekend where it was with a childhood friend. So we've literally like known a lot of these people for decades. Some of my family was going to be there. They all kind of came in, or not all of them, but some of them. And I had like this experience with my older sister, just with all of my just changes and everything I've been going through and my spiritual journey and just, again, transformation and awakening. Like I'm very, very different. I've grown in so many ways than like from, Kat, even like 5 years ago, let alone like how she's known me my whole life, 20 years ago, like whatever. And so she had kind of like sat me down and we were talking. She kind of cornered me a little and she's like, tell me like what's going on. I was like, I just can't. And even though like I literally like I wore my expression earrings and I'm so grateful I did because I was aware of this dynamic that might play out, and it did. And she was like, why don't you? And I was like, how do I put it into words? It's like I kind of felt like it's not. This is the only way I can think to describe it. It's like it didn't feel safe, to share. And so again, that's on me. And so we eventually did get to the point where I did open up and share some things, and it was good. And I'm glad it's out there. And I'm glad I took my Lapis Lazuli earrings to have that happen. But it's like, I feel the more we can kind of put ourselves, like maybe to baby step it, if you're someone that's like working on this expression piece in your life, to kind of like manifest or call in those people that will allow you to work that muscle and practice working that muscle, that you do feel safe, you know, expressing kind of like some of that inner truth and authenticity, because the more it's like it's like any mindset is just like muscles in a weird, probably because their brain, like you're like, but you know, you have to like, to get something stronger, you have to feel the pain, you have to work it.
Yeah.
And then the more you do that, the more it grows and the stronger it gets. And so I feel like expression is that same thing. It's like, how can you try to call in those people to help you with your reps?
Right. I love that. That makes the biggest difference, I feel like. Because I have been in relationships or just known people that were not a safe place, and that played into why I kind of like just went inside myself a little bit. And so finding like your people that care about you and support you on your journey is really important.
Yeah.
I love that.
And so this is, again, it's like, well, how do I, if you want to know my personal opinion on the matter, and again, take, like, maybe this isn't authentic to you, so take what you want, leave the rest. Like, there's no right, wrong, yes, no, black, white. In my world, again, that could be wrong too. Maybe there is. I don't know. But I just know what helps me to feel safe. If you're like, I want to be that person, I want people to feel like they can open up to me. And I'm like, I probably don't even do perfect at this myself, but it's like, if I know that you're kind of coming at me with like a fixed, this is right, this is wrong mindset, like that's an immediate, like, I can't bring this to you because at least I feel like you're going to be like, nope, wrong, right, yes, no, good, bad, you know, and I'm like, you're not me. You're not like, I know, which again, there's been times in my life where I feel like I kind of fell into that thinking a little bit more, which is fine. Like, if that's your truth and how you live and move through the world, like, great. But just know, like, that's harder for me to open up to a person like that. Whereas if I feel like you can embrace and see all of me and accept that it's not necessarily right or wrong or black and white. And even if you don't, like, if what I'm doing doesn't work for you, that's fine. But it's like that doesn't mean it's wrong or it's bad or it's no, or you know what I mean? And that's like, I like to think that's how I try to approach a lot of people and relationships. It's like, if you come to me and you're like, you know, I'm this or I'm that or I'm that, I'm like, cool, I see you, and I can totally understand why that works for you, and I love that for you. Like, you know, even like a really simple thing is like let's go with food. You know, there's people, God, even that one's hard. I love almost all foods. Like, there's only one food. I don't love fruit pies. Like, I think I was like a childhood, my grandma was like famous for baking them, and I like threw it up one time during the holidays, like had a sickness or something, and ever since then I've just been like
nope, can't do it.
No fruit pies. Oh, my grandma's the main. I'm like, no, you don't understand. My grandma would win awards for her fruit pies, and I do not do fruit pies. I don't care how good it is, you know, it's not my favorite thing. So like, someone, like, if I'm like, oh, I actually think fruit pie is disgusting, you're wrong. Fruit pie is delicious. Instead of, like, we're so much more, there's some things in life that it's totally fine. It's like, oh, cool, you don't like fruit pie, no problem. Here's some pumpkin pie. Not a big deal. We all like different things. Cool.
Yeah.
But for some reason, there's other things, like food is a very acceptable thing to have different opinions on and thoughts on, and things that you feel good eating that make other people like deathly ill. And like, but you know, there's some things like politics or religion or just very divisive things in our life. And it's like, I love this thing. And someone's like, oh, that's a terrible thing. You're a bad person for liking that. No one's like, you're a bad person, Kat, for not liking fruit pie. Like, I don't know. So it's just kind of like that thinking. And again, it's not black, because then people, I feel like I express this to people, this thought process, and they're like, well, so what, we should just all go out and kill and eat babies? Like, it just goes to this, like, if there's no black and white and right and wrong and truth. And I'm like, okay, well, I kind of believe in kindness. Like, that's a general, I feel very, like, is it kind? If it's kind to yourself and to others, it's probably okay, you know, like, whether it's this or that or anything. But even then, I'm just like, I see you, like, I get it.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point, though, because it's like, we're okay with some things having differing opinions, but not everything.
Yeah. It's like
That
sometimes
is-
it feels threatening to
Yeah.
your self or which I get. Like, and again, I go to the opposite. Like if you're, I don't know, like I go to like gay rights, you know, if a person is like, hey, I don't think if you're gay, you should be allowed to get married again. It's against God, like whatever their reasons are, you know, like
Right.
that's really hard to accept. Again, I go back to my kindness rule. I'm like, well, it doesn't seem very kind. So,
right.
again, so it's like, where is that line of being like, oh, well, I could see why you think and feel that way. Like, and that's your truth and that's okay. You know, like, it's like, again, because then we're in arguments about, but what are like human rights? Like, you know, I don't know. Like, and that's where it gets tricky.
That does get hard. Because you don't want, when people are expressing themselves, you don't want to just shut them down.
Yeah.
Because that's not productive or helpful to anybody. Yeah. But then also being able to share what you feel and what you think.
Yeah.
But it does get tricky when they're not willing to hear you out or not accepting of other opinions or thoughts or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of just, unfortunately, the tricky thing about the world we live in is it's not always loving and kind, and that becomes tricky. And I think that's where it's important for, you know, you value the kindness and the love, and so that's what you put out, and that's all you can do. I feel like I don't know. And the more people that do that, the better.
The better we'll all be.
Yeah.
So yeah, just learning to express your love, express your truth, your authenticity. I think again though, like finding your voice, at least for me, like I've I'm such on some levels, like people see me as a very like confident, strong-willed, but I still like my voice, I'm like my little throat chakra, like it's not easy for me to speak up sometimes and speak my truth and authenticity, even to people I do feel like very safe and loved, and you know, it's just not a natural thing for me, and it's just something, again, one of those mindsets that I would love to continue to kind of work on and develop. But
yeah, it's a hard one, but I feel like it's important. It's one of the big ones that I kind of falls into all the other mindsets, you know, intuition and
expressing that intuition,
expressing your intuition
the confidence
and your transformation.
That's a really good point.
And
like
all
that expression. Yeah, like all our other, it's like you could express love and this and this. And it's like all of the different mindsets that we have with all the different gemstones. Expression is one that's like in and of itself is kind of like a key.
Yeah. But also in everything else. And I think that's where it can get really overwhelming sometimes as people are on their journeys of whatever you're trying to develop, and it just gets overwhelming because there's so many different mindsets and so many different things that, you know, we would want to develop and be better at. And so it can get crazy to be like, oh, I have so many things, but just knowing that everything's kind of connected, and so you're just taking little baby steps, and everything you need is already within you. It's just pulling it out and making it stronger. So.
And again, that overarching theme of what I always love, to help women feel energized, empowered, and my favorite is enough. Like, you're actually perfect. Like, you don't have to develop anything. Like, you're perfect just the way you are. And it's, again, like, where are those, like, lines of the self-love, but also, like, self-development and self-discovery, and how those, like, you know, self-acceptance, like how do they all fit together? Like, we can love and accept ourselves just the way we are, but also be excited and ready and wanting to continually transform, express, evolve, learn, you know.
It's a hard one. That's good. Like, all are good. Everything, I don't know. And I feel like in the end, it just all evens out, and you just do your best. And if you only can just love yourself where you're at right then, that is absolutely perfect and totally enough. And if you want to keep going, you keep going and you'll get there.
And if you don't, that's okay too.
Everything, and it's great. It's a interesting line to talk about, and there's so much in the mindfulness realm that people can go into, and it gets overwhelming, but you just, I don't know, there's a lot, but it's okay.
That's why we're here, to just talk through it and hopefully enjoy the journey.
Yes, I think that's the big part, is learning to enjoy it.
I know, and like, here's the big secret. Nobody actually knows what's going on, and if they do, don't believe them, because that means they definitely don't.
You might be right.
Or maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they do, and I'm not there yet, but
who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? We're just doing our best.
Oh.
All right, well, let's end with our expression affirmation. It is, I deserve to be fully expressed in who I am.
Love it. So thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next week when we talk about another mindset that we can kind of play with and incorporate in our lives.